What if the home you have dreamed of, the dwelling place you have seen in your imagination, the sanctuary you believe was years away, or perhaps forever out of reach, could become yours in a matter of weeks through a technique so simple that its very simplicity causes most to overlook it? What if I told you that the walls that will shelter you, the rooms that will hold your laughter and your rest, the garden where you will plant seeds of new beginnings, already exist in a dimension of mind waiting only for your recognition to call them forth into physical form? You have searched, you have calculated, you have stared at listings and measured your income against your dreams, and concluded, perhaps with resignation, that the home you truly desire belongs to some distant future version of yourself who has somehow accumulated what you currently lack. But this conclusion is built upon a fundamental misunderstanding of how reality is created, how circumstances are shaped, how the visible world takes its instructions from the invisible realm of consciousness. Today you will learn of the miracle of mind dynamics, the precise operation of a power within you that can compress time, rearrange circumstances, and deliver into your hands the very keys to a home that logic insists you cannot yet possess. You will hear of those who applied this technique and watched in wonder as properties appeared, as doors opened, as the impossible became not merely possible but actual. This is not theory. This is law, and law, once understood, can be applied by anyone with the faith to use it. If you sense that you were meant to find this teaching, that something greater than chance has brought you here, then I invite you to subscribe to this channel and become part of a community that understands the creative power of the subconscious mind. Press the like button now as your declaration that you are ready to receive. And in the comments below, write these words as your commitment to the journey ahead. My home awaits me. I claim it now. Let us begin. There is a power within you that has built civilizations, that has transformed deserts into gardens, that has taken the invisible substance of thought and shaped it into bridges and cathedrals and homes where generations have lived and loved. This power does not belong to the extraordinary few. It does not favor the wealthy over the struggling, the educated over the simple, the powerful over the humble. It operates with perfect impartiality, responding always to the one who understands its nature and applies its principles with faith and feeling. This power is your subconscious mind, and when you learn to work with it rather than against it, when you discover how to impress upon it the image of your desire with clarity and conviction, you will witness what can only be called miracles. Not miracles in the sense of violations of law, but miracles in the sense of results that transcend what the ordinary thinking mind considers possible. I call this the miracle of mind dynamics because it involves the dynamic, living movement of mental energy from the invisible to the visible, from the imagined to the manifested, from the dream to the dwelling place you will call home. Let me speak plainly about what is possible. There are those who believe that acquiring a home requires years of saving, perfect credit scores, large down payments, and a favorable alignment of countless external factors. These beliefs are not wrong in the sense that they describe one way reality can unfold, but they are incomplete. They ignore the deeper law that stands behind and governs all circumstance, the law that your outer world must ultimately conform to your inner assumptions. When you change the assumption, you change the outcome. When you shift the inner image, the outer picture must adjust to match it. This is not wishful thinking. This is the operation of a principle as reliable as gravity, as consistent as the turning of the earth, as certain as the rising of the sun. The scripture declares in Proverbs, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." The heart, in the language of ancient wisdom, refers to the subconscious mind, that deeper dimension of self where beliefs are held and from which all experience springs. What you think in your heart is not merely what you affirm with your lips. It is what you truly believe and feel at the core of your being. And that inner conviction, that settled assumption, is the seed from which your circumstances grow. If you hold in your subconscious the belief that owning a home is difficult, distant, or doubtful, then difficulty, distance, and doubt will characterize your experience. But if you can impress upon that same subconscious the living conviction that a home is yours, that it is waiting for you, that it is even now moving toward you through channels you cannot see, then you set in motion a dynamic process that reorganizes reality itself around your assumption. Let me tell you of a woman I shall call Miriam. Miriam was a single mother of 2 children, working as a nurse in a busy city hospital. She rented a small apartment that grew smaller every year as her children grew larger. The dream of a home of her own, a place with a backyard where her children could play, had become something she barely allowed herself to think about because the thinking brought only pain. Her income covered her expenses with little left over. Her savings were modest. The housing market in her city was competitive and expensive. By every conventional measure, Miriam was years away from homeownership, if it was possible at all. But Miriam encountered the principle of mind dynamics. She learned that the circumstances she observed were not fixed realities, but fluid reflections of her inner state. She learned that her subconscious mind, properly impressed, had access to solutions and pathways invisible to her conscious reasoning. She learned that by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, she could set in motion forces that would bring her desire into physical form. With nothing to lose and everything to gain, Miriam began to practice. Each night, as she lay in bed after her children were asleep, she would close her eyes and imagine herself standing in the kitchen of her own home. She did not try to figure out how this would happen. She did not strain to visualize every detail. She simply felt what it would feel like to be in her own home, to know that the walls around her belonged to her, to sense the peace and security of ownership. She would touch the countertops in her imagination. She would look out the window at a backyard where her children played. She would feel gratitude welling up within her, gratitude for the home that was somehow already hers. Night after night, she fell asleep with this feeling, impressing upon her subconscious the image and emotion of her desire fulfilled. Miriam did not count the days. She did not set a deadline. She simply persisted in the practice with quiet faith. But what happened next took even her by surprise. 3 weeks into her practice, Miriam learned of a program she had never heard of, a special initiative for healthcare workers that offered assistance with down payments on homes in her region. A colleague mentioned it casually in the break room, unaware that this single sentence would change Miriam's life. Miriam applied immediately. She was approved within days. The program covered the down payment she could not have saved in years. But this was only the beginning. A realtor friend of a friend reached out to her, having heard she was looking. This realtor knew of a property that was about to come on the market, a home that matched Miriam's needs perfectly, priced below comparable homes because the seller was relocating urgently and wanted a quick, clean transaction. Miriam saw the house and knew instantly it was the one she had been imagining. The kitchen, the backyard, the feeling of peace. It was all there, translated from imagination into brick and wood and glass. From the night she began her practice to the day she received the keys, 47 days had passed. Miriam will tell you that she did not make this happen through force or struggle. She made it happen by changing her inner state, by impressing her subconscious with a new image, and then by following the guidance that arose from that deeper mind. The down payment program, the colleague's casual mention, the realtor's call, the seller's urgency, all these factors align not by coincidence but by the operation of law. This is the miracle of mind dynamics. It is not magic. It is science. The science of mind operating according to principles that can be learned, practiced, and applied by anyone willing to shift their attention from the apparent limitations of the outer world to the limitless creative power of the inner. Now, let me explain the technique more precisely so that you can apply it in your own life. The subconscious mind does not respond primarily to words. It responds to images accompanied by feeling. You may repeat affirmations 1,000 times, but if the affirmation is spoken without genuine feeling, without the emotional conviction of reality, it makes little impression. It is the feeling that penetrates. It is the emotion that opens the door. When you desire a home, you must learn to feel the home, not to think about wanting it, not to wish for it someday, not to hope it might happen. You must feel it as yours now. You must assume that it is already done, that the home exists, that you are simply awaiting the visible confirmation of an invisible fact. The Gospel of Mark records these words attributed to the Master Teacher. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. Observe the instruction carefully. Believe that you receive them, not that you will receive them someday if conditions are right. Believe that you receive, present tense, in the very act of asking. This is a psychological shift that activates the subconscious and sets the law in motion. How do you believe you receive before you see? You feel it. You allow yourself to enter, in imagination, the state you would occupy if your desire were already fulfilled. You feel the feelings, think the thoughts, Assume the posture of one who already has what they seek. This inner assumption, held with conviction, impresses the subconscious mind with commands it cannot refuse. The technique I recommend above all others is the pre-sleep impression. The moments before sleep are golden for this work. In those moments, the conscious mind relaxes its guard. The critical faculty that questions and doubts becomes quiet. The subconscious mind rises toward the surface, extraordinarily receptive to suggestion. What you impress upon your subconscious in those moments carries tremendous creative power. Here's how to practice. As you lie in bed preparing for sleep, allow your body to relax completely. Release the tensions of the day. Let go of any thoughts about problems or worries. Simply rest in quietness. Then, with your eyes closed, construct a simple scene that implies your desire is fulfilled. If you desire a home, imagine yourself in that home, but do not create an elaborate fantasy. Keep it simple. One room, one action, one feeling. Perhaps you imagine yourself walking to the front door of your new home. Feel your hand on the doorknob. Feel the door swing open. Feel yourself stepping inside. Feel the satisfaction, the relief, the joy of coming home to your own place. Let this feeling fill your body. Let it become real to you. Do not try to make things happen. Do not strain. Simply feel the naturalness of being home. This is not pretending. This is pre-living. You are experiencing in imagination what you will soon experience in fact. The subconscious does not distinguish between imagined experience and actual experience if the feeling is genuine. It accepts the impression and begins to work upon it immediately. As you hold this feeling, you will naturally drift towards sleep. Let the feeling carry you over the threshold. Fall asleep in the assumption that your home is yours. This is planting the seed in the most fertile soil of the subconscious mind. This is the technique that produces results that amaze the logical mind. Let me tell you now of a young couple I shall call Daniel and Ruth. They had married with great love and small means. They lived in a rented room in a house of relatives, grateful for the shelter, but longing for a space of their own. They had saved a modest amount, but it was nowhere near enough for a down payment in their expensive coastal city. Daniel learned of the pre-sleep technique and shared it with Ruth. They decided to practice together. Each night, lying side by side, they would imagine themselves sitting together on a porch they would call their own. They did not know what the house looked like. They did not know where it was located. They simply felt the feeling of being together on their porch, watching the sunset, knowing the home behind them belonged to them. They practiced this for weeks. Nothing external changed at first. Daniel went to work. Ruth managed the household. The savings grew slowly, but the inner state had shifted. There was a new peace between them, a quiet confidence that something was unfolding beyond their conscious sight. Then came the phone call that changed everything. Ruth's elderly aunt, a woman they had visited perhaps twice in their lives, had passed away. They felt sorrow, of course, but also surprise when they learned that the aunt had left them her small cottage by the sea. It was not a grand home, but it was theirs. It was real. It had a porch that faced the setting sun. Daniel and Ruth will tell you that the technique did not create their aunt or manufacture the inheritance out of nothing. The technique aligned them with a possibility that already existed, connected them with a provision they could not have known about or planned for. The subconscious, connected to what we may call infinite intelligence, knew what their conscious minds could not. It coordinated circumstances, influenced timing, and brought them to the exact place where their desire and its fulfillment could meet. This is the dynamic nature of the miracle. It works through existing channels. It uses natural means. It coordinates factors beyond the range of your conscious planning. Your task is not to figure out how the manifestation will occur. Your task is to hold the inner state, to maintain the feeling, to persist in the assumption until the outer world conforms. The prophet Isaiah wrote, "I will go before thee and make the crooked places straight. I will break in pieces the gates of brass and cut in sunder the bars of iron." These words speak directly to this principle. When you set your subconscious upon a goal through proper impression, it goes before you, preparing the way. Obstacles that seemed insurmountable become surmountable. Barriers that appeared permanent dissolve. The path that was hidden becomes clear. But you must understand that there is often a period between the inner impression and the outer manifestation. This period is not delay in the negative sense. It is incubation. It is a time during which the subconscious mind is working beneath the surface, coordinating, arranging, preparing. During this period, your faith is tested. Your persistence is proven. Many give up just before the breakthrough, assuming that the technique has failed because results are not immediate. Do not make this error. The 47 days I mentioned in the title are real because such results are possible, but the specific timing for your manifestation may be different. What matters is not the number of days, but the maintenance of the inner state. Hold the assumption. Keep the feeling alive. Persist through any appearance of contradiction. The scripture in Habakkuk declares, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come." Your vision of home has an appointed time. Though it seems to tarry, though it seems delayed, wait for it with the patience of faith. It will surely come. This is not hope. This is law. Now, let me address a subtle but important point. The home you manifest may not match every detail of what you consciously imagined. You may have pictured a Victorian house and receive a craftsman bungalow. You may have imagined a specific neighborhood and find yourself in another. This is because the subconscious responds to the essence of your desire, the feeling beneath the form, rather than to every specific detail your conscious mind attached to it. Trust this process. The home that comes to you will satisfy the deeper longing that prompted your desire. It will provide the peace, the security, the belonging that you truly sought. Often it will be better suited to your actual needs than what your conscious mind had planned, because the subconscious, connected to infinite wisdom, knows more than you know about what will truly make you happy. A man I shall call Victor learned this lesson in a beautiful way. Victor was an architect who had designed in his mind the perfect home for himself. Every detail specified, every material chosen. He practiced the pre-sleep technique faithfully, imagining himself walking through this specific design. He held the feeling of ownership and satisfaction. The home that came to Victor was not the one he had designed. An unexpected opportunity arose to purchase a historic property that was being restored, a property with character and soul that his modern design had lacked. At first, Victor resisted, attached to his original vision. But something drew him to the historic home. When he walked through its rooms, he felt the feeling, the exact feeling he had cultivated in his imagination. He realized that his subconscious had answered the essence of his desire, delivering a home that touched him more deeply than his own design would have. Victor learned to hold his designs loosely while holding his feelings firmly. The feeling is the creative force. The specific form is negotiable. When you practice the technique, focus on how you will feel in your home, not necessarily on what the home must look like in every detail. Let us speak now of the role of action in this process. Some hear the power of mind and conclude that they should simply imagine and wait, taking no action in the external world. This is a misunderstanding. The subconscious mind works through you as well as for you. When you impress it with an image, it will guide you toward action that aligns with your goal. You will feel impulses, receive ideas, notice opportunities that you would have overlooked before. These promptings are to be followed. The difference between struggle and inspired action is crucial. Struggle comes from anxiety, from fear, from the desperate attempt to force results through effort alone. Inspired action comes from peace, from confidence, from the guidance of the deeper mind that knows the way to your goal. After you have impressed your subconscious with the feeling of your desire fulfilled, pay attention to the ideas that come. Follow the leads that appear. Take the steps that feel guided, even if they do not make complete logical sense. A woman named Claudia practiced the home manifestation technique for several weeks. One morning, an unusual thought came to her. She should visit a neighborhood across town that she had never considered, a neighborhood that did not match her preconceived ideas about where she wanted to live. The thought was persistent. She felt drawn. She followed the prompting. In that neighborhood, Claudia discovered a home she had not known existed, in a price range she had not expected, offered by a seller who was willing to work with her specific financial situation. The conscious mind had overlooked this possibility because it was outside the boundaries of prior assumption, but the subconscious, connected to larger intelligence, knew exactly where to guide her. This is why you must remain open after impressing your desire. Do not narrow the channels through which your good can come. Do not insist that the manifestation occur in a specific way. State your intention clearly in the inner state, then remain flexible about how it manifests in the outer world. The infinite has ways of providing that your finite mind cannot anticipate. The Apostle Paul wrote to Philippians, "My God shall supply all your need according to his riches in glory." Observe that the supply comes according to riches in glory, from the infinite abundance of the divine source, not according to the apparent limitations of your current circumstance. When you connect your subconscious to this infinite source through proper assumption, you open yourself to supply that transcends what your bank account or credit score would seem to allow. Many have found that unexpected provisions came through inheritance, through gifts, through programs they did not know existed, through opportunities that appeared at exactly the right moment. The subconscious mind, doing its creative work, drew these provisions into the field of experience. It was not chance. It was law operating according to the impression made upon the deeper mind. I want to address now the question of worth. Deep within many minds lies a hidden belief that they do not deserve a home of their own, that such things are for others more fortunate, more deserving, more prepared. This belief, operating beneath conscious awareness, sabotages the very manifestation that is being sought. If you sense this within yourself, it must be addressed. You must understand that worthiness is not earned through struggle or accumulated through suffering. Worthiness is your birthright as a child of the infinite. The scripture in Luke records these words, "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." Not reluctance, not hesitation. Good pleasure. The infinite delights to give. You're receiving honors that delight. When unworthiness arises, meet it with truth. Affirm your right to abundant living. Recognize that wanting a home for yourself and your family is not selfishness, but stewardship. A home becomes a base from which you serve, a sanctuary in which you renew, a legacy that blesses generations. Wanting this is holy. Claiming this is right. Let the sense of unworthiness dissolve along with any other obstacle. Replace it with a calm conviction that you are meant for good, created for blessing, designed for abundance. This shift in self-perception will accelerate every manifestation you undertake. As we near the conclusion of this first teaching, let me offer you a summary. Without calling a summary, you have learned that your subconscious mind is a creative power of extraordinary capacity. You have learned that it responds to images accompanied by feeling. You have learned that the pre-sleep state is ideal for impression because the conscious mind's resistance is lowered. You have learned to feel the reality of your home as though it were already yours. You have learned to persist through the incubation period with faith and patience. You have learned to follow inspired action while remaining open to unexpected channels of manifestation. You have learned that your worthiness is not in question. These are not merely ideas to understand. They are techniques to practice. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, begin the work. Construct your simple scene. Feel the feeling of being home. Fall asleep in that state. Do this night after night with quiet persistence, and watch what unfolds. The home that awaits you is real. It exists already in a dimension of possibility, waiting for your recognition to call it into visible form. The keys that will one day rest in your hand are waiting for the moment when your inner assumption meets the outer circumstance. This meeting is not far away. It is as near as your next practice, your next feeling, your next moment of faith. You are not asking the universe to do something extraordinary. You are aligning yourself with the ordinary operation of a law that has been creating reality since the beginning of time. You are taking your place as a conscious creator, no longer at the mercy of circumstance, but actively shaping the experiences you wish to live. The miracle of mind dynamics is not a miracle in the sense of the impossible. It is a miracle in the sense of the previously unrecognized, now seen and now applied. You are seeing it now. You will apply it tonight. And in the days to come, you will witness its power in your own life. Hold fast to the vision of your home. Let no doubt shake you. Let no delay discourage you. Let no appearance of limitation convince you that the law has failed. The law never fails. The law is operating right now. Even as you receive these words, preparing the way for you to walk into the home that is yours. Infinite intelligence is your partner in this work. You are not alone. You are guided, supported, and carried by a wisdom that knows the way to your highest good. Trust this wisdom. Follow its promptings. Rest in its provision. Your home awaits you. Claim it now in consciousness, and let the outer manifestation follow in its own perfect time. We continue now this sacred exploration of the miracle of mind dynamics, the power within you that transforms the invisible image into visible reality, the dream into the dwelling, the longing into the living experience of home. What you have received thus far is foundation. What follows will deepen your understanding and strengthen your capacity until the manifestation you seek becomes not a question of if, but simply a matter of when. Let us return to the principle of feeling, for this is where so many fail to grasp the full power available to them. The subconscious mind is not impressed by mere words. It is not moved by intellectual understanding alone. It responds to the living quality of feeling, the emotional charge that accompanies your mental image. When you imagine your home with genuine feeling, you are speaking the native language of the subconscious. When you imagine without feeling, you are speaking a foreign tongue it cannot fully understand. Consider what happens when you feel something deeply. Your entire being responds. Your body changes its chemistry. Your heart rate shifts. Your breathing alters. Your nervous system activates in ways that prepare you for the reality you are experiencing emotionally. The subconscious mind reads these signals. It interprets feeling as reality. It cannot distinguish between an imagined experience that is felt deeply and an actual experience that produces the same feelings. This is why actors who immerse themselves in roles sometimes struggle to separate from their characters. This is why memories of powerful experiences can produce the same physical responses as the original events. The feeling is the bridge between mind and matter, between the invisible and the visible, between what is imagined and what becomes real. When you practice the pre-sleep technique for manifesting your home, you must feel your way into the scene. Do not merely picture the home as an observer watching from outside. Enter the scene as a participant. Feel the floor beneath your feet. Feel the walls around you. Feel the air of your home on your skin. Feel the satisfaction of ownership. Feel the peace of belonging. Feel the joy of having arrived. Some find it helpful to focus on one sensory detail that evokes strong feeling. Perhaps it is the sound of a door closing behind you, the solid sound of your own door in your own home. Perhaps it is the sight of light falling through a particular window. Perhaps it is the feeling of running your hand along a banister as you climb the stairs. Find the detail that makes the scene real to you, and let that detail become the anchor for your feeling. A man I shall call Bernard struggled with visualization. His mind wandered. His images were vague and flickering. He could not sustain a clear mental picture. But Bernard discovered that he could feel his way into the experience even without perfect visual clarity. He focused on the feeling of sitting in a comfortable chair in his own living room, the feeling of relaxation and contentment that came from knowing he was home. This feeling, cultivated night after night, proved sufficient. The subconscious received the impression through feeling even when the visual image was imperfect. Within 2 months, Bernard was offered an opportunity to purchase a home from a family member at a price significantly below market value. The family member was relocating and wanted a home to stay with someone they trusted. Bernard had not known this opportunity was coming. His conscious mind could not have planned for it, but his subconscious, properly impressed with the feeling of home ownership, had drawn him into alignment with the very circumstance that would fulfill his desire. Do not be discouraged if you are not a natural visualizer. The feeling is more important than the picture. Cultivate the feeling, and the subconscious will respond. Now let me speak of something that troubles many who begin this practice: the apparent contradiction between inner assumption and outer reality. You are told to feel that your home is already yours, but you open your eyes each morning to the same rented room, the same apartment, the same circumstance that contradicts the assumption. How do you maintain the inner state when the outer world seems to deny it? This is where understanding becomes crucial. You must recognize that the outer world you observe today is the manifestation of past impressions. It is a harvest of seeds planted in your subconscious days, months, or years ago. It is history expressing itself, not prophecy declaring the future. When you change your inner assumption, you plant new seeds. But the old harvest does not vanish instantly. It continues to appear even as the new seeds are germinating beneath the surface. The farmer who plants wheat in spring does not despair when he looks out at fields that show only bare soil. He knows that the seeds are working below the surface, following their own timeline of growth. He does not conclude that planning has failed simply because harvest has not yet appeared. He trusts the process. He maintains his intention. He continues to water and tend even when nothing visible has yet emerged. You must adopt the same patient confidence. The inner assumption you hold is a seed planted in the soil of your subconscious. It is working right now, even as you listen to these words. It is sending out roots. It is gathering resources. It is preparing to break through the surface of your experience. That it has not yet appeared in visible form does not mean it has failed. It means it is still growing. The scripture in Galatians declares, "And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not." This is divine instruction for the incubation period. Do not grow weary. Do not faint in your faith. The due season is coming. The reaping is assured. Your only task is to persist, to maintain the inner state, to keep feeling the reality of your home even when your eyes show you the temporary circumstance that has not yet changed. I have witnessed this truth operate in remarkable ways. Let me tell you of a woman named Priscilla who faced a particularly challenging test of faith. Priscilla had been practicing the home manifestation technique for 3 months with no visible result. She lived in a small apartment with her elderly mother, and the space had become cramped and difficult. Every day she faced the evidence that her practice was not working. Every night she returned to the technique with wavering faith. In the 4th month, Priscilla nearly gave up. The logical mind presented its case. The technique was fantasy. The hope was foolish. The circumstance was fixed. But something within Priscilla refused to surrender completely. She made a decision that changed everything. She decided to persist not because she could see results, but because she believed in the law itself. She chose to trust the principle, even when she could not yet see its product. 2 weeks after this decision, a series of events began to unfold. A property that had been tied up in an estate dispute for years suddenly became available. It was a small house that had belonged to a distant relative of Priscilla's mother, and its resolution had been considered hopeless by all involved. But suddenly, unexpectedly, the legal obstacles cleared. The house was offered Priscilla's mother at a family rate. It needed work, but it was theirs. Priscilla will tell you that the breakthrough came not when she visualized perfectly or felt most intensely, but when she decided to persist purely on faith. That decision sent a signal to her subconscious that she was serious, that she was committed, that she would not be moved by appearances. And the subconscious, receiving that signal, completed its work. Persistence through apparent contradiction is not stubbornness. It is wisdom. It is a recognition that the timing of manifestation is not under conscious control. The subconscious mind knows when all factors are aligned, when the path is clear, when the moment is right. Your task is to maintain the inner state until that moment arrives. Every night of practice contributes to the final result. Every feeling of home adds weight to the impression. Nothing is wasted. Everything accumulates toward manifestation. The prophet Habakkuk wrote, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." These words contain both instruction and promise. The vision has an appointed time. Though it tarry in your perception from the perspective of the law, it does not tarry at all. It moves with perfect precision toward its manifestation. Wait for it. It will surely come. Now, let us explore the question of specificity versus openness in your mental practice. Some teach that you should be extremely specific about the home you desire, defining every detail from the number of bedrooms to the style of fixtures. Others teach that you should remain completely general, focusing only on the feeling and leaving all details to infinite intelligence. The truth lies in a balanced approach that honors both the power of clear intention and the wisdom of flexibility. You may be specific about the essence of what you desire. You may know that you want a certain number of rooms to accommodate your family. You may know that you require a certain type of neighborhood for safety or convenience. You may know that you need a yard or a garden or proximity to work. These specifications are appropriate because they reflect your genuine needs and preferences. But you must hold these specifications loosely, recognizing that infinite intelligence may fulfill your desire in ways that exceed or differ from your conscious planning. The home that comes may be in a neighborhood you had not considered, in a style you had not imagined, through a pathway you could not have anticipated. If the essence of your need is met, if the feeling you cultivated is matched, then the manifestation is true even if the details diverge from expectation. A young family, I shall call the Reyes family, learned this lesson beautifully. They wanted a home with space for their 3 children, a safe neighborhood, good schools, and access to nature. They visualized a suburban home with a large backyard, the kind of home they had seen in their friends' lives. Night after night, they felt the feeling of family life in this imagined space. The home that manifested was not suburban. It was a town home in an urban area they had never considered. But as they explored it, they discovered that it bordered a large park that served as a yard they had imagined. The schools in the district were excellent. The neighborhood was safe and vibrant. The commute was shorter than what the suburbs would have required. In every essential way, their desire was fulfilled, but the form was different from their expectation. The Reyes family learned to thank infinite intelligence for knowing better than they knew. The urban townhome suited their actual lives better than the suburban vision would have. Their children thrived in the park community. Their family life flourished in ways a suburban isolation might not have allowed. Hold your vision clearly. Feel your desire specifically, but remain open to the wisdom that knows your needs more completely than you know them yourself. The manifestation that comes may be exactly what you pictured, or it may be something better that you could not have pictured. Either way, the law operates faithfully, bringing you to the home that is truly yours. Let me speak now of the relationship between the technique of mind dynamics and practical action in the world. This teaching is sometimes misunderstood as an invitation to passivity, as though one could simply imagine and wait without engagement in the physical realm. This is an error that delays manifestation unnecessarily. The subconscious mind works through natural channels. It coordinates circumstances, influences timing, and creates opportunities, but also works through you, prompting you toward actions that align with your goal. When you impress the image of home upon your subconscious, you will begin to receive inner guidance. Ideas will occur to you. Impulses will arise. You may feel drawn to drive through a certain neighborhood, to speak with a certain person, to investigate a certain program. These promptings are the subconscious communicating its guidance. They are to be followed. Inspired action differs from anxious striving. Anxious striving comes from fear, from the desperate attempt to force results, from the belief that your effort alone must make things happen. Inspired action comes from peace, from the intuitive sense that this step is right, from the guidance of a deeper wisdom that knows the path. Learn to distinguish between the two. Release the anxiety. Follow the inspiration. A man named Solomon had been practicing the home manifestation technique for several weeks when an unusual idea came to him. He felt prompted to attend an open house in a neighborhood outside his target area, a neighborhood he had no logical reason to visit. The prompting was persistent. Solomon followed it. At the open house, he met another visitor who turned out to be a mortgage specialist with knowledge of a new lending program perfectly suited to Solomon's situation. This specialist became not only a resource, but a friend who guided Solomon through the entire purchase process. The home Solomon eventually bought was not the one from the open house, but the connection made there proved essential to his manifestation. Had Solomon ignored the prompting because it did not make logical sense, he would have missed a connection that made everything possible. The subconscious knew what Solomon could not know. It guided him to the right place at the right time to meet the right person. Solomon's willingness to follow the inspiration completed the circuit between inner impression and outer manifestation. Pay attention to your promptings. Write them down. Act upon them even when they seem unusual. The subconscious communicates in subtle ways, and those who listen and respond accelerate their manifestations beyond those who imagine without acting. The scripture in Proverbs instructs, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." This is a principle of trusting the deeper guidance, not leaning solely on conscious reasoning, allowing the inner wisdom to direct your steps. When you trust your subconscious, connected as it is to infinite intelligence, you find your path directed toward your goal in ways your understanding alone could never achieve. Now, let me address a sensitive matter that affects many who seek to manifest homes: the presence of a partner or family member whose beliefs seem to contradict the practice. Perhaps you live with a spouse who is skeptical of these principles. Perhaps you have children who express doubt or fear about the possibility of change. Perhaps you are surrounded by well-meaning friends who counsel you to be realistic and abandon what they see as fantasy. How do you maintain your inner state when outer voices speak contradiction? First, understand that you do not require anyone else's belief of the law to operate on your behalf. The impression you make upon your own subconscious is sufficient. Others may doubt. Others may question. But if you hold a feeling of home within yourself, if your own assumption is firm, the law will respond to your consciousness regardless of what others think or say. Second, protect your practice from unnecessary exposure. You need not convince others or explain your technique. Hold your intention silently. Practice your visualization privately. Let results speak for themselves when they come. The scriptures advise against casting pearls before those who cannot appreciate them. Your practice is precious. Guard accordingly. Third, if you have a partner who is receptive, invite them into the practice with you. Shared assumption can be powerful. When two or more hold the same vision with the same feeling, the impression is strengthened. But do not force this. If your partner is not ready, proceed alone with confidence. Your manifestation, when it comes, may open their mind to possibilities they currently cannot see. A woman named Lenora faced this exact challenge. Her husband, Marcus, was a practical man who trusted only what he could measure and prove. When Lenora began practicing the pre-sleep technique for their family home, Marcus openly dismissed it as wishful thinking. He did not forbid her practice, but neither did he participate or believe. Lenora did not argue. She did not try to convince Marcus with words. She simply continued her practice night after night, feeling the reality of their family home, holding the vision with quiet determination. She trusted that the law would operate regardless of Marcus's skepticism. When the manifestation came, it came through Marcus himself. A colleague at his work mentioned an opportunity to purchase a foreclosed property at well below market value. Marcus investigated and found a home that exceeded what they could have afforded through normal channels. He came home excited, presenting the opportunity as though he had discovered it through pure practical research. Lenora smiled and agreed that they should pursue it. Only later did Marcus acknowledge that the timing and the opportunity seemed almost too perfect to be coincidence. He did not suddenly embrace the principles Lenora practiced, but he became less quick to dismiss what he could not explain. And Lenora understood that the law had worked through Marcus precisely because it works through natural channels, meeting each person where they are. You do not need to change others to change your reality. Focus on your own consciousness. Make your own impression. Let the law operate through whatever channels are available. Often it will work through the very people who seem most opposed, using their actions and connections to bring about the manifestation you have seeded in your subconscious. Let me now speak of gratitude, for this is one of the most powerful accelerants of manifestation available to you. Gratitude is a recognition of good already received. It is emotional acknowledgement that blessings are flowing, that provision is present, that the universe is responding to your needs. This recognition, felt deeply, aligns with the frequency of abundance and draws more abundance toward you. Begin to practice gratitude for the home that is coming to you. Feel thankful for it now, before you see it, before you hold the keys, before you walk through the door. This is a gratitude of faith, the thanksgiving that precedes the visible gift. It is one of the most powerful positions you can occupy in consciousness. Each night, before you enter your visualization, take a moment to feel genuine gratitude for 3 blessings already present in your life. They need not be large or dramatic. Simple blessings count. The breath in your lungs, the people who care for you, the capacity to hear these words and apply this teaching. Feel thankful for these, and then extend that gratitude forward to the home that is manifesting for you. Thank infinite intelligence for the home as though it were already yours. The Apostle Paul instructed, "In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God concerning you." Not only in pleasant circumstances, but in everything. This includes your current living situation, however imperfect it may be. Give thanks for the shelter you have now, for it has served you while your greater provision was being prepared. Give thanks for the journey that is refining your faith and teaching you the power of your own mind. This attitude of universal gratitude creates a magnetic field that accelerates every manifestation. A young woman named Iris discovered the power of gratitude almost by accident. She had been practicing the home manifestation technique with limited results. Her visualizations were good. Her feelings were genuine. But something seemed to be missing. Then, one night, before her practice, she paused to feel grateful for her small apartment, for the way it had sheltered her through difficult times. She felt genuine appreciation for what she had, even as she desired something more. That night, her visualization felt different. There was a new quality of peace, a deeper sense of receiving. Within a week, opportunities began to appear that had been hidden before. Within a month, Iris had found and secured a home that matched her vision almost perfectly. She later reflected that gratitude had completed the circuit. It had removed the subtle resistance, the unconscious complaint against present circumstances that had been blocking her manifestation. When she gave thanks for what she had, she opened fully to receive what was coming. Let gratitude be woven through all your practice. Give thanks constantly. Give thanks for the seen and the unseen, for the present and the future, for the small blessings and the large ones taking form. This attitude aligns you with the infinite source of all supply and accelerates the miracle you seek. As we approach the conclusion of this teaching, I want to speak directly to you about what is possible for your life. The home you have imagined, the dwelling place you have felt in your practice, the sanctuary you have claimed in your subconscious, can become yours. It is not too good to be true. It is not reserved for others more fortunate or more deserving. It is available to you because the law that governs manifestation operates for all who apply it correctly. The miracle of mind dynamics is not a distant concept. It is a present power waiting to be used. You have within you, at this very moment, everything required to manifest a home that belongs to you. You have the subconscious mind that creates. You have the imagination that impresses. You have the capacity for feeling that activates. You have access to infinite intelligence that coordinates. All the elements are present. All that remains is your consistent, faithful application. Tonight, when you lie down to sleep, practice what you have learned. Construct your simple scene. Enter your home in imagination. Feel the feeling of being there. Let the reality of ownership wash over you. Fall asleep in that state, planting the seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious. Tomorrow night, do it again. And the night after, and the night after that. Persist with quiet confidence until the manifestation appears. The 47 days mentioned in the title of this teaching represent a real possibility. Manifestations can occur rapidly when impression is clear, the feeling is genuine, and the faith is firm. Your timing may be different, but the principle is the same. The law operates as surely for you as for anyone who has ever applied it. I have seen homes manifest in weeks. I have seen them manifest in months. The timing depends on factors beyond conscious control, on the complexity of circumstances that must align, on the readiness of the channels through which the manifestation will come. But the manifestation itself is certain when the inner work is done correctly. You are not alone in this work. Infinite intelligence is your partner, your guide, your source. This intelligence knows where your home is. It knows who currently holds it. It knows the path by which it will come to you. It is coordinating factors you cannot see, preparing the way you cannot yet perceive. Your task is to maintain the inner state, to keep the feeling alive, to trust the process that is unfolding on your behalf. The psalm declares, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul." This is the relationship you have with infinite intelligence. You are shepherded toward your good. You are led beside the still waters of provision. Your soul is restored as you trust the guidance that is always available. Let me offer you a final word about the days ahead. There will be moments of doubt. There will be mornings when you wake to the same circumstances and wonder if anything is changing. There will be voices, external and internal, that counsel you to abandon this practice and accept limitation as your fate. When these moments come, return to the truth you have learned here. Return to the understanding that the outer world reflects past impressions while new impressions are taking root. Return to the patience that knows incubation precedes harvest. Return to the faith that persists through every appearance of delay. And then, when the manifestation comes, and it will come, remember this teaching. Remember that you did not force the result. You allowed it. You did not struggle against circumstance. You changed the inner assumption from which circumstance arises. You did not beg an external power. You recognized the power within and directed it toward your desire. You participated in the miracle of mind dynamics, the living proof that consciousness creates reality. The home that awaits you is real. The keys that will rest in your hand are waiting. The rooms that will shelter your life are prepared. All that remains is the alignment between your inner assumption and the outer manifestation, an alignment that your practice brings closer with every feeling-filled session, with every night of faithful impression, with every moment of maintained faith. You are standing at the threshold of transformation. Behind you is the old belief in limitation and struggle. Before you is the new understanding of creative power and divine provision. The door between these worlds is open. The invitation is extended. The power is within you. Step forward now in faith. Claim the home that is yours by right of consciousness. Persist in the practice until the invisible becomes visible. And when you walk to the door of your new home for the first time, pause for a moment. Remember this teaching. Feel the gratitude that flows from knowing how you came to be there. And know that what you have done once, you can do again in every area of life where desire meets faith and faith becomes fulfillment. As we close this teaching, let me offer you both blessing and reminder. What you have received today is presented in the spirit of education and inspiration. These principles represent original teaching based on universal concepts that have been understood by seekers of truth across all traditions and ages. They are offered to awaken you to the creative power that resides within your own consciousness, a power you are encouraged to explore, test, and apply according to your own wisdom and judgment. You are the authority in your own life. No teaching, however profound, replaces your direct connection to infinite intelligence, your personal responsibility for choices you make, your inner guidance that knows your unique path. What is offered here is a map drawn from understanding of the law. You must walk the territory yourself, applying what resonates and discovering what works in your own experience. May you practice what you have learned with patience and persistence. May you hold your vision with clarity and feeling. May you trust the incubation period without wavering. May you follow inspired action when it arises. May you give thanks constantly for blessings present and blessings coming. May the home that awaits you come to you in perfect timing through perfect channels. May it shelter your life and nurture your growth. May it become a place of peace, of joy, of belonging. And may the miracle you experience in manifesting it open your eyes to the infinite possibilities that await you in every dimension of life. You are loved beyond measure. You are provided for beyond what you can see. You are guided by a wisdom that never fails. Trust this. Believe this. Know this. Go now in peace. Go in confidence. Go in the unshakable conviction that your home awaits you and that the miracle of mind dynamics is already at work on your behalf. And so it is.